June 14th virtual joint budget and finance committee meeting is hereby called to order. Approval of the meeting minutes is our second item of consideration. Is there a motion or are there any corrections to those meeting minutes?
So move.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So
Aye.
the minutes of our last meeting are approved. Consideration of the consent agenda. Are there any items that members would like to place on consent today? No?
I have some. Hi, Mr. Babbitt. Yes, can we put the following items on consent, please?
Okay,
Item number 4 on page 1. Item number 5. And my pad's freezing up, so I don't know the page numbers, but items number 5, 6, and 8 on page 2. Item number 10 on page 3. Item number 12, 14, and 12 and 14 on page 4. Item number 17 on page 5. Item 19, 20, 21 on page 6. Item 22, 23, 24, and 25 on page 7. And I would like to ask if we consider item 28A, an addendum item, and item 28B for consent also.
okay.
I have.
I have an item 28.
Okay, well, yes, it's 28, and then there's a 28B for, do not have a 28B, I'm sorry.
28B.
It's in your meeting notes, Counselor.
Would it be 29B, 29A and B since we have a 28?
Right. That might be supposed to be 29, you're right, 29
I think so.
and 30.
But you can put.
Excuse me,
Okay,
Council.
Council.
29 is adjournment, so therefore we do 28, A, B, C, D, whatever alphabets, because 29 is adjournment.
Okay, so then I'm asking for 28A and 28B
On consent.
on consent, please. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but not 27.
I did not have 27. I don't know if the other counselor would like to do that one. I did not.
Okay. And there was another one that was not mentioned.
We
that I
add,
want to check on item 18 on page 5. It's way down at the bottom for no dumping signs. Can that one be on consent?
Yes, especially since that's District 7 neighborhood, please. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Actually, there's a note at the top of your,
Oh, that's right.
that it was
we
approved
approved
during the
that.
last meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Nielsen. That's already been approved, Counselor Abbott, so it can be withdrawn.
Okay, well, it was down at the
Sorry.
bottom of that page and it was easy to kind of overlook.
Yes.
Um,
And did you note that I had called item number 4 at the beginning as well?
Let me run back up.
Okay.
Okay, item 4. Yeah, item 4.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to read them out again. Oh, and ask Counselor Smitherman. Counselor Smitherman, are those all okay with you? And do you have any more?
no, I'm good. Thank you,
Okay.
Madam Chair. I'm
I'm
good.
going to read them again just to make sure I got it down.
Okay.
Okay, so on page 1, item 4 for consent. On page 2, items 5 and 6 and 8. Page 3, item 10. Page 4, items 12 and 14. Page 5, item 17, and item 18 is withdrawn. Page 6, items 19, 20, and 21. Page 7, items 22, 23, 24. Page 8, item 26. And items 28A and B. So does that cover everything?
That does it for me.
I
Okay,
thought you said 25. I am 25. President Pro Tem.
Thank you. I can agree with that. Yes. Thank you,
I
Councilman.
thought you
that's
said
another
that.
one of those down at the bottom of the page that's hard to see. Okay, so we'll add
Yeah,
item,
26 was not included.
Okay, but 25 is. Thank you.
Mhm.
okay, 26 is not included. And neither is 27. Okay. So do I hear a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, before you make that motion, item number 12 was asked to be withdrawn as well as number 18.
Okay, item number 12 is withdrawn.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. For some reason, suddenly my iPad doesn't want to work. Okay, so we've withdrawn item 12 also.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's
And we
two.
I'm sorry, Dr. Lee, we resubmitted that?
Ma-
Did we not resubmit it as item 12 as a replacement?
Ma'am, Madam Chair, item number 12 and 18 has been requested to be withdrawn.
Okay,
And you have your items. Thank you, Madam Chair.
okay. Okay, so now we are ready to go through our items. Our first item is item 7 on page 2. A resolution authorizing a renewal agreement with Symetra Life Insurance Company for the provision of medical stop-loss coverage for a term of 1 year commencing July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022 in the amount of $1,113,487. Do I hear a motion?
Move the item.
Some second.
Okay, this item has been properly moved and seconded. Who is speaking with us today regarding this item?
Good afternoon. This is Jill Medisic, Director of Human Resources. How are you all today?
Just fine. It's good to have you.
Thank you. So this is our stop loss for our medical insurance. So we have coverage so that if any of our claims exceed $450,000, that we have insurance that comes in to pick up the difference so that it's no longer paid from our self-funded account. I do have to tell you that it is a 23% increase in the premium, but our consultant went to about 12 insurance companies, and because of our history with the number of claimants that we've had, our current provider is the only one who bid. And they did provide some alternative with a higher deductible, although the savings in premium probably will not provide us the additional coverage that we need. It is anticipated that we will have at least possibly up to 6 individuals who will exceed the deductible for each claim.
Okay.
The
On the
other
notes-
benefit is
On the
that-
notes, I said we
The other benefit is that Symetra did not add any laser claims, which an insurance company may offer to provide coverage, but then laser out specific individuals. And we only have 2 current individuals that are lasered out. And that is because of the type of medical condition that they have, that they anticipate the bills are going to exceed that amount. But we believe that this insurance is necessary to continue to protect the healthcare plan, because we need protection from any catastrophic illnesses our employees may suffer.
Do members of the committee have any questions?
No, Madam Chair, but we didn't take the motion in the second for the consent agenda. You started, but then you stopped.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. We need to do that. But let's finish this item and then we'll do that because this is not on consent. So I just have one question about this item now. I remember back a few months ago, we had to borrow money from the Birmingham Fund because of a situation where an individual employee's medical bills had cost so much that we ran out of money. So this is curing that problem, except that they've lasered out a couple of people who are going to have, I assume, really big medical bills that we still are going to have to pay. Is that?
So Counselor, we came back to you for our workers' compensation fund. And at the time that this particular individual was injured, the city was self-insured and had no stop-loss coverage in place. We do have stop-loss coverage for our workers' comp. We will actually be bringing that later this month to the committee. We are still waiting for some quotes. This is our health care, and I can tell you that for the last few years, these 2 individuals have been excluded. Since I'm not providing the name, I can tell you that they both are hemophiliacs. And because of that, they are claims that we have paid for the last 3 years out of our healthcare fund. And our healthcare fund has always had a positive balance, although it comes close to being used every year because we fund it on a pay-as-you-go basis. But that claim didn't come from this fund.
Okay, I had them confused. I guess stop loss just comes up and it grabs your attention. Okay, well, we do have a motion and a second on this item, so if there are no other questions, we're ready to vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. So now we will go back and motion and a second for the consent agenda as read. So is there a motion?
Move for
So moved. Second.
Okay, it has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so our consent agenda is approved and we are moving on to item 9, a resolution that the presiding municipal judge be and hereby is authorized to execute for and as the act of said city, an agreement between the city of Birmingham and Innovative Approach Incorporated, under which Innovative Approach Incorporated will manage the city of Birmingham's Project Renew driver's license recovery, the purpose of which is to assist Birmingham Municipal Court defendants who have never had a driver's license or whose driver's license has been suspended or revoked to resolve their cases and obtain valid driver's licenses through assessment of their individual histories, case management of their circumstances, and financial literacy training to teach them how to successfully resolve their cases and come into compliance. Innovative Approach, Inc. will provide the management services for the term of 1 year increments for a period not to exceed 3 years from the date of execution of this contract in an amount not to exceed $174,000 and no hundreds dollars per year. Funding source is professional services and judicial administration.
Move the item.
Do we have a second? Well, I'll second. You may be muted.
You muted, Councilman.
It's,
Second.
this muting and unmuting can get to be challenging. Okay, so we have a motion. Is there, someone here to speak to this today? Judge, do I see you?
Yes, hello, how are you?
Good.
Counselor Abbott, Counselor Alexander, Counselor Smithman. Good to see you. Well, I see you often. I don't ever get a chance to talk to you. But the contract that's before you right now is simply a continuation of a program we've had for about 5 or 6 years now. It's our we call it one of our premier programs. We think helping people get their driver's license is the removal of a barrier to a whole lot of things in our community. And I think for a long time we've taken for granted just how difficult it is to maneuver in our community without some kind of ID. And Project Renew was created by the court. And we asked Innovative Approach to come in and manage the program. And so Sylvia Stone has come in with a couple of employees. And that's what they do really, really well, is help people get their driver's licenses. So far, the numbers exceed about 1,200 people who've gotten their driver's licenses since we started. So it's a fabulous program. It's used by the surrounding municipalities, and yes, Councilor Abbott, we do charge them for sending people to us. Yes, yes. But we also have the flexibility of allowing people who have difficulty with their finances. We can help them as well. Sometimes the issue is too many tickets. Other times the issue is, and most times the issue is literacy. And the program is designed to help them learn how to pass the driver's license exam. It's uniquely designed to do that. We might not be able to teach them, what they need to do to get a high school diploma, but we can help them pass the driver's license exam. And so we don't.
Any questions from anyone? Well, hearing no questions.
Oh, I have a question.
You do have a question.
I have one question. Just to really judge, are there any other municipalities that have used this approach before?
They don't use, well, in the local community, they don't use the approach because it's, we kind of found the cheat code, Counselor, to helping people get their driver's licenses. And the cheat code is case management. People really need to be helped through the process. We think because we're literate, because we're college educated, we have education, you can simply go down and get your driver's licenses. But that's a system that a lot of people can't get around. And so the hand-holding staff and the other municipalities simply haven't invested in that, like Birmingham had.
Okay, well, thank you, Judge, for all your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
I'm good, Madam Chair.
Okay, so we are ready to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So item 9 passes on to the city council, the full council. We are ready to go on to item 11. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with SHI International Corporation and New Jersey Corporation through Sourcewell, which is the cooperative purchasing program authorized by the State of Alabama Department of Examiners of Public Accounts in an amount not to exceed $53,262.50 for the purpose, I think that's probably purpose, of providing web-based software as a service software, specifically SeeClickFix, an online and smartphone application that allows citizens to report code enforcement and other non-emergency issues.
Move
Do we
the
have a
item.
motion?
Move the item.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Mr. McClendon, are you on?
I am. Good afternoon, councilors. How are you this afternoon?
Good afternoon. We can barely hear you.
I will try to turn this up and do better. Is this better?
Oh, that's much better.
Thank you. This is to replace our existing 311 system, the front end of it, the part that faces the citizens, and also part of the workflow on the back end. We're looking to completely revamp the system over the next 18 weeks to make it a lot easier to use, including adding a cell phone application so that any smartphone, you can just take a picture of the item. It'll stamp where it is. And also, I know this is near and dear to a lot of your hearts. It'll be much easier not only for citizens to go and review cases, but for our elected and appointed officials to also go and see what's happening with all of our cases at 311.
Yay. I know that was probably not very professional, but boy, have I been waiting for this. Ladies, I know you have too. When I go out and walk at night, I take pictures of violations all over the place and then I email them to 311 and I never know where they go. I take great pictures, but you know, enforcement is the biggest complaint we get in this city. There's no administration that's ever done a good job of enforcement. So hopefully this will be the key, at least the key that unlocks the door. Then we have to get somebody to like let us in the door and take off the deadbolt, I guess. But anyway, this is a great thing. So ladies, do you have any questions regarding how it'll work or anything, or?
Well, I just want to say I'm excited, as I know each of you are, to see this upgrade or this deliverable being made for 311. Just a quick question about the application. Sometimes, you know, when you make that call, and then often I have to wait to get that 311 number. And as the Councilor Abbott said, it gets in an abyss. And so you try to figure out where is it, what's happening with it. So are there any additional capabilities other than the reporting function? What about some of the management or information for the user, the person that dialed it in?
Right. The user, SeeClick Fix is a purpose-built 311 system that's used nationwide by hundreds of municipalities. So as you can guess, they've built in a lot of these features over time that have been demanded by the other municipalities that use it. The user will get automatic email and in-application updates on any item that they've reported. You can also go in and choose to follow other issues, and it'll give you updates on that if you just choose to follow the issue. So if you saw one in your district that you're aware of, you could choose to follow that issue and you get updates as it goes along, and also be able to go in and look at the status of it at any time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Great benefit. Thank you.
Councilor Abbott, this is Councilor O'Quinn.
Yes, Councilor O'Quinn, are you smiling?
Yes, I am very, very excited to hear that we're moving this forward. Had some meetings with Mr. McClendon probably about 2 years ago where we talked about this. And I know it's been a conversation in the city of Birmingham even long before I thought about, you know, running for office. So, wow, finally, thank you. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Amen. And all that other stuff.
If I could put a little bit of icing on the cake, councilors, over the next 5 years, this solution will save the city $250,000 over our current solution in software licensing and support.
Wow, that means we can hire more code enforcement people to actually go out and do the work. Maybe we can get the green coats back. Those are the people who used to troll the neighborhoods and catch people doing illegal things instead of having to have them reported via 311. That may be asking too much. So we have a motion that has been properly seconded. Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And on behalf of Councilor Hoyt, I think I'll say indubitably. because I don't think anybody's going to be sad that this is going to happen. So thank you, Mr. McClendon. That item will be sent to the full and very happy council. Okay, item 12 is withdrawn, but it is being replaced by a similar resolution. So this is the question for Dr. Lee and Sherry Nielsen. Should we put the replacement in the place where item 12 was withdrawn, or should it be 28E?
It could be 28E, Madam Chair. Off the numbers, you can change it. So it has to be 28E.
Darryl, are you there?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. It has to be 28E.
Okay.
We cannot change the number and replace of an official agenda that's been sent out.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. I was pretty sure it had to be 28E, but I just didn't want to mess it up.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
we are moving on to item 13 on page 4, a project agreement between the City of Birmingham and Kaliza LLC doing business as Landing, under which Landing will undertake a project to relocate and grow its headquarters in the city by hiring an estimated 816 new employees, and will implement the city's Talent Investment Program, or TIP, designed to attract top-tier talent in tough-to-recruit occupations. The Talent Acceleration Program, or TAP, designed to upskill current employees into high-wage, high-skill positions, and the Talent Optimization Program, or TOP, designed to develop and hire talent existing within the city, as well as attract positive national attention to the city in order to facilitate talent attraction. And the city will provide incentives to Landing in support of the project in an amount up to $1,632,000 to be applied by Landing towards the costs of TIP, TAP, and TOP over a term of up to 5 years, which incentives will be payable in the amount of $2,000 per each new employee, and with the amount of such incentives to be capped at $750,000 for the first year, and will cap out during the following 4 years for a total of $1,632,000. Mr. Wesley, are you here to enlighten
ma'am.
us?
Well, greetings, council, men and women. I humbly request your support for a 3-pronged approach to economic development involving the state, the county, and now requested from the city. As illuminated here on your page, it's the Tip Tap Top program, the cap of 1.6 over the 6-year period with 816 new jobs at full employment. This project is estimated to have 1.3 billion in new payroll, over 112 million in state revenue, which would equate to about 56% return on investment over a 20-year period based upon our position, or rather participation. Eager to answer any questions that we have not already addressed. One other key note is with our investment, we're looking at a 9-time multiplier. So essentially for the 1.6, we would directly and indirectly generate about 14.75 million over a 10-year period. So a ton of impact there that could translate into a lot of additional tax revenue for the city, as 816 new bodies being housed in our downtown at the John Hand Building would equate to 816 new opportunities to patronize those businesses that are there. And so we would have both direct and indirect impact. Eager to answer any questions that have not already been addressed.
Ladies, do you have any questions or comments regarding this program? I know there's a lot to absorb here.
Well,
Yes, Madam Chair. Oh, well,
Yeah, Councilor Smitherman, I think I heard you first.
Okay. Well, I just have a few questions. So what would be considered a high wage, high skilled position?
The average salary of the company is $34 an hour. In terms of how the incentive is broken out, and it's broken out into all new employees. So they don't have to be what we would define as highly skilled. I believe it broke out into three pockets: customer service being one, software engineers, as well as leads, senior, as well as back-end developers.
Okay. So how will the city of Birmingham give notice to Birmingham and Jefferson County people that jobs are available to apply? Do we have a different approach for that?
That's a great question. A question that we have not worked, I would imagine, would be addressed in tandem and rather in collaboration with our OPI department, how best to facilitate that message. But I can assure you that we will be aggressive in sharing that information for all the citizens across Birmingham.
Okay, I believe you will do that. Oh, sorry.
No, Corey Fain here from Landing. I'm the Director of Economic Development and Community Engagement. I just want to chime in really quick and say that we are deeply invested in getting the word out, and we have a very much Birmingham first approach. And so, we have our own careers page. We have a recruiting team that part of my job is making sure they link up with programs like Innovate Birmingham, with the K through 12 system, like the full spectrum of the tech talent pipeline, and making sure that we are recruiting employees from the city. So we are excited. We want to get creative. We've considered just putting up a big billboard that says we're hiring in Birmingham. And so we're really looking for ways to get city excitement, just really churning around these jobs and to have people start applying, because they are high paying jobs and with great benefits. And we want to make sure that they're available in the city to these, to our neighbors and our family members first.
Okay, great. Thank you. I just want to make sure that we get notice to certain districts that don't always get information, like the western side, because I think there are a lot of qualified people that could benefit from this, but sometimes information gets lost. So thank you for that. Let's see. Let's see, I have quite a few questions, sorry. What is the effective date of agreement?
I believe Attorney Stanley can answer that. Attorney Stanley should be on the call, can speak to when the actual agreement was consummated.
The effective date will be when the council approves it.
When the council approves it? Okay. When is this supposed to go on the agenda?
I'm assuming next Tuesday.
No, I can intervene there. This is Trey Hill. I'm an economic development lawyer with Bradley representing Landing. And so actually what we're looking to do is to go before Councilor Hilliard's Economic Development Committee next Tuesday afternoon. And then it would go to the full city council the subsequent Tuesday, which would be June 29th.
Okay, thank you. I saw in there was something mentioned about reporting provisions. Can you explain that a little bit more? And also, I want to request that the council be included in those, just getting those updates as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be happy to chime in, and if Jim Stanley is on, he can add anything that he wants. But the reporting obligations are very robust, Councilor Smotherman. It's a couple of pages of questions related specifically to how TIP, TAP, and TOP and the reimbursements that the company's asking to go towards recruiting and training will be used to train and recruit Birmingham residents, and in particular to train and recruit women and minorities who historically have been underrepresented in the tech industry. And we have to submit that annual reporting each year. And the project agreement contemplates that the reporting go directly to Cornell and the IEO department, who I'm sure can distribute to the council as you guys see fit. But I mean, it's a very good example, I think, of a governmental incentive that is very transparent and gives you guys an opportunity to analyze real data on an annual basis to make sure that the program that you've implemented is achieving the results that you desire.
Okay. And just for people who don't know, can you give examples of hard to reach jobs in the tech industry?
Absolutely. So right now, some of our hardest to recruit positions or some of the hardest to hire positions in Birmingham are software engineers, both back end and front end, product managers, and Salesforce developers. So we've had some success with the front end and back end software positions. And I think that's definitely a testament to the city and this ecosystem that's been built up over the last few years. So it's definitely a different world from when Shipt first started and they were looking for tech talent to now. And a lot of that is due to the cities and council's hard work. And so we very much appreciate that. And I think we are interested in working to strengthen that pipeline even further because a lot of those positions that I just mentioned, again, they are incredibly hard to find locally. And I think that's a great opportunity for us to really partner and build that talent from within.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this is a great opportunity because I have a friend who's in the tech industry and he complains about that all the time, how the city can do better with that. So I really want to thank you guys and Cornell for this opportunity. I'm not going to take up all your time, so I'm going to let President Pro Tem ask other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may ask my questions, and I believe Councilor Smitherman asked quite a few of those that I believe a majority of us may have had questions about. I do want to get a little bit more information about the workforce development piece of this. And as Councilor Smitherman has said, for me, I'm just going to be a little selfish. I want to be sure that I have residents in District 7 that, you know, would know about these positions and would be able to apply for these positions. So I am fully interested in how the word would get out. And then is there any pipeline that might be created so that if we have industries or organizations or schools that offer this type of training, we can be sure to recruit and that recruitment starts here in Birmingham.
Absolutely. So I'm actually part of a coalition right now that is gathering all of the tech talent training and development organizations in the city together to try to help create a more coordinated pipeline for the tech ecosystem. So that is part of my job here at Landing, and I'm working heavily with those organizations. So we're talking Jeff State, Community College, Lawson State, Innovate Birmingham, Prosper Birmingham, just a wide spread of practitioners in this space, as well as a lot of these governing and coordination bodies, including Central Six and others that you would be familiar with. So we are working very heavily with those community partners to make sure that we not only establish strong relationships with them, but that we are able to get our job opportunities out to them and to the individuals that they represent and serve. And to ensure that we're really building just the strongest workforce possible at both Landing and within Birmingham's tech ecosystem, you know, because we know that diversity of thoughts and backgrounds and you know, neighborhoods, all of that will only make our company stronger. So we really have a strong priority on that at this company, and that is something we're actively working on. If you have an organization specifically that works with your residents, or you know that you just believe in very heavily and they operate in Birmingham, feel free to let me know, and we're happy to connect them and just get job opportunities with them.
Perfect. You did state one of the crown jewels in D7. So Lawson State, I was happy to hear that you say that you would kind of create that pipeline with them, as well as Jeff State. The other thing, just tell me a little bit, I don't want to get into the weeds of this, but when we talk about the monitoring, are there certain indicators or triggers that you will be sure to provide to us ongoing so we don't get to the end of something? What starts the TIP-TAP program, I guess, incentive monitoring piece? After how many are hired, or what's the time frame with that?
I can speak to that, Councilor Alexander. So the project agreement contemplates 5 what are referred to as reporting years under the agreement. The first reporting year started December 4th of 2020 and runs to the end of 2021. So it's almost 13 months. The next 4 succeeding reporting years are calendar years. So it runs, you know, through 22, 23, 24, and then ends 12/31/25. At the end of each of those reporting years, the company is obligated to submit, which is an exhibit to the agreement, the reporting that is required that has statistics showing, the number of folks, for example, that have received TIP, TAP, and TOP respectively assistance. Of those folks, how many are Birmingham residents? Of those folks, how many are women? How many are minorities, et cetera? In addition to that, the company also has to provide invoices or other evidences of payment to incur the training or recruitment expenses, to document that Landing has in fact incurred these costs that they're asking the city to reimburse. And so the first set of reporting would come due in the month or 45 days at the beginning of the first quarter of 2022. And then payment would come due after Cornell and his team, after disseminating per Councilor Smitherman's request to the council, the ability to kind of vet the information and make sure, that you guys are comfortable with it, to request payment on or about April 1st of 22 would be the first payment, and then each on or about April 1st until April 1st of 2026. So that would give you sort of the temperature check on an annual basis.
There's one last question. We talk about this as a joint effort, state, county, city. Of the incentives that are part of the project, what would you say the percentage of this is based on the city of Birmingham's participation?
Good question. I would say of the total incentive amount, I would say roughly 5% of it is City of Birmingham.
Okay, thank you very much. And I just have one other thing I want to ask, but I'll allow go back to the Madam Chair and just see what your questions are.
Well, thank you. And these are all good questions because this, as you all know, it appeared in the Birmingham Business Journal before any of us had heard of it, except for previous articles in the Birmingham Business Journal that just talked about the business. So when we spoke earlier, before the Budget and Finance meeting, we talked about some tweaking that needed to be done to the contract. And I was curious to know who wrote the contract. Is this a contract that came from San Francisco, from Landing, or is this where did this contract originate?
So this contract originated with the SHIPT agreement that the council approved back in 2018, which was the first implementation of TIP, TAP, TOP, and was drafted principally by me on behalf of SHIPT and Jim Stanley on behalf of the city's law department. It's largely driven by other project agreements that the city of Birmingham has historically entered into under what's called Amendment 772 to the Alabama Constitution. And so most of the provisions in the agreement are consistent with other 772 agreements that the city has historically entered into, except for the unique provisions related, specifically to the TIP, TAP, TOP training. So that's my answer. Does that help?
Yeah, I was just curious because I was in contract management with AT&T for several years, and it's just interesting the different ways that these things happen. The amount of control the city maintains or doesn't maintain in its contracts, and the standard language that we always use except when we forget to use it. So, and the council every once in a while misses those things, and, it comes to bite you later on. So we want to make sure that our contract agreement is easy for everyone to understand and that it's exceedingly clear what we're doing. But it sounds like we're moving in the right direction. And I was trying to think, it seems like I did come up with another question, but I don't remember what it was. So it'll come back to me, I'm sure. So anything else from other members of the committee before we take action?
Well, I did want to ask, and I think you said this, Mr. Hill, you're taking this to the Economic Development Committee next, and then we would still have 3 other members that have not had opportunity to have the presentation prior to the council meeting. I don't want to make this get lost in committee of the whole or anything, so I just want to know if councilors thought we need to increase opportunity for other councilors to have this opportunity to know more about the project, or would we just wait until council meeting?
I can defer to you guys, of course, and to Kelvin Batcher, but I mean, Corey and I are more than happy to meet with, I guess it would be Councilors Hoyt, Williams, and Parker, who are the 3 councilors that are not on the ENF committee or the ECD committee, to have a conversation, to give them an opportunity to hear the presentation about the impact of this project to the city, and to give them an opportunity to answer or ask any questions that we can entertain.
All right. And of course,
Councilman Alexander, Department IAO stands ready to assist in any way we can to ensure the comfort that's needed.
Yes, Council, I want to ensure what Mr. Wesley said, that the team is ready to be with any councilor, and will definitely send at least a summary of what the council will vote on in 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll make all information available and transparent to the council prior to the vote.
And of course, we each have the opportunity to log in to any committee meeting, just like Councilor Quinn is here with us this afternoon. So thank you. That was just a question. So I'm ready for the vote, Mrs. Abbott. The rest of the committee.
And I think that, if committee of the whole is working the way it's supposed to, that's the whole purpose of it, is to let all 9 members of the council sit down together and hear a presentation at the same time, and hear one another's thoughts as well as whatever thoughts are in your own head, because all of us can't always think of everything, and we're very interested in what our colleagues have to say. So we would just, if we were going to go to committee of the whole, we would need to do it in a timely fashion and knock it out so that we can move ahead and not drag our feet. But we'll see what the will of the full council is on that. So I would entertain a motion at this time, because we do not yet have a motion.
I move the item.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and properly seconded that we send this to the full council with our recommendation. And I'm going to vote in favor of this, but I do want to see the changes to the contract to be sure that we've gotten everything simplified and easy to understand for all who might be involved. So we're ready to vote now. All in favor say aye.
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 And all opposed, there are none, because we all said aye. So that item is approved, and we'll send it to the full council for further consideration after it goes to economic development. So we are now, been on this so long, my screen went black. Okay, so that was item 13, and we are moving on now to item 15, assignment and consent of rights to city payments and to amended and restated project agreement by and among Weldon Field Development LLC, WF Lakeview LLC, and the City of Birmingham, under which an amended and restated project agreement dated June 2nd, 2011 between 29-7 LLC and the city, under which the city agreed to provide up to $1.5 million in incentives in support of 29-7 LLC's development of mixed-use retail and residential project located at the northwest corner of the intersection of 29th Street South and 7th Avenue South, which was assigned to Weldon Field Development LLC with the city's consent, will be further assigned to WF Lakeview LLC with the city's consent. This is just a change in ownership. And there is a note here, this item will also be submitted for inclusion on the June 15th City Council agenda. So, Mr. Lassiter, are you going to talk to us about this?
Yes, ma'am, just for a moment. This was strictly through the Office of the City Attorney, and Jim Stanley handled it, so I'm gonna ask Jim to go through this with you. Thank you. Jim, you're
Okay.
on.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, so the committee may recall about a month ago, the committee considered and the council approved an assignment of the 29-7 project incentive agreement to Weldonfeld LLC. This project is the mixed use project on 7th Avenue South. It's where Hattie B's is located. After we did that approval, the developer came back and said they had a different entity that was going to be the owner. It's WF Lakeview. We told them that because we use Amendment 772 for this approval, we would need to get further council approval of that second assignment. So that's all we're doing, is just assigning it yet one more time, new entity, which would be the owner of the project.
Okay, are there any questions from members of the committee? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that item passes. That's item 15. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, our next item is item 16, a fourth amendment to the contract for micro transit services between River North Transit LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Via Transportation Incorporated, and the City of Birmingham to provide transportation services along with the technology and professional services for the design, marketing, launch, operation, maintenance, and performance evaluation through September 30th, 2021 to the City of Birmingham, utilizing funding awarded but not utilized under the Third Amendment to the contract pursuant to Resolution number 2154-20. Mr. Fowler, are you
Good
here to
afternoon.
talk to us about this?
Yes, ma'am. So I know that's wordy, but essentially there's money left over in the current agreement. So we pay Via based on a rides used formula. And so, during COVID, ridership dropped, so they weren't using as many vehicles. That has climbed now as we've come out of COVID. So we're almost back up to pre-COVID levels, but there's actually still some savings left in the current contract. And so this is a date-only extension where we're not adjusting the budget. We're just using the existing budget to extend the agreement out, the period of the agreement, out to September 30th. The current agreement ends June 30th. So this gives us a few extra months, and so that's in essence what the agreement is for.
Okay, are there any questions from members of the committee?
I do have one question. Mr. Fowler, when are we going to expand Via to other districts?
Yep, this is a great question. So the current usage area is very popular. So I think we've served around 45,000 rides total. And about 2,000 of those have been wheelchair accessible rides. So it's a very popular service. The way that we would like to expand this service is in coordination with the Transit Authority. We don't necessarily want to compete with the Transit Authority. We want that to be a coordinated service. And so as you guys may or may not know, the Transit Authority is currently working through a plan to relook at their routes and come up with proposed new routes. And so what they do with their routing will directly affect our best strategy for expanding. So we don't necessarily know exactly what that looks like just yet, but we know that there's demand for expanding. And So this gets us to September 30th, and I think it gives us more of a window to hear back from the Transit Authority on what they're proposing to change with their routes. That'll inform where we expand.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes, Madam Chair, I just wanted to sort of follow up on just the statement about working in conjunction with the Transit Authority. Now, the VIA rides have a significant discount, you know, sort of like working man's Uber. So would that be coordinated in cost and everything as far as, because I know a lot of people were just waiting on the increase in the area span. And we were thinking that was the next step, but now hearing that, you know, you're going to try to work with the Transit Authority, I just wondered, is it going to be at the same cost savings to the residents?
I think that's to be determined. However, it would definitely be a discounted cost. That's kind of one of the intents of microtransit is it's kind of a hybrid between the Uber and a transit service. And so it would be offered at a discounted cost below what a typical Uber or Lyft would cost. And so I think, well, I guess maybe just to expand on that answer, one of the places where microtransit can fit in best, because it is sort of a hybrid between those two systems, is in some of the lower density areas that are harder to serve with a giant bus. As we get further and further out from the core of our city, the more and more feasible and useful that microtransit system seems to become. And so it would ideally, once coordinated, kind of tie into some of our big transit hubs around so that the two systems work together. But to answer your question about a discount, ideally it would have a discount over like a Uber or a Lyft.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is everyone ready to vote? First, we have to have a motion, but everyone's gotten all their questions answered. Expansion certainly is something that I think everybody is interested in, because all the handicapped people that I know personally still have to walk a couple of blocks to get to the border where they can go by VIA, which if you're handicapped, you know, even 2 blocks can be a real, you know, hump to get over. So I think that expansion is certainly of great interest, but we understand about the transit system. So do we have a motion? Would anyone like to make a motion?
Second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion that has been properly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 So that item passes and we'll send it to the full council. Our next item is, let's see, item 18 was withdrawn. And we are going to way down here to item 26, an ordinance to amend the Community Development Block Grant Fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021 by appropriating $87,918 to community development for down payment assistance, facade improvement program, and public facilities per additional award received. Do we have a motion?
Move the item.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and properly seconded. Mr. Hatcher, are you here to talk to us about this?
Also got Ms. Stitt that can speak to it.
Okay, Ms. Stitt?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, counselors. I'm Adrian Stitt. I'm a deputy director in community development. And what we received an additional $87,000 from HUD and CDBG funds. And we've recommended that increase to go to our facade improvement program. It increased by $40,000. The down payment assistance program increased it by $40,000, and the additional $7,000 went to our public facilities line item.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have a question? Because I have several. Any questions? Does anybody else want to know what the facade improvement program actually does? Whose facade are we improving?
The Facade Improvement Program is a new initiative with community development that we started early this year. And it's a program where we're trying to help business owners improve the outside of their building. They can receive up to $50,000 in funding if it's eligible and in eligible project areas. We have like a brochure that we can see you with additional information about the Facade Improvement Program if you need it.
Okay, and I assume down payment assistance is for regular citizens, but the public facilities, what are we doing with public facilities?
Well, those funds are usually used when we have requests from like our Park and Rec department, where we can assist like our rec centers and even our park in low and moderate income areas that serve an area benefit. Like we've been able to assist some things that we did assistance with Wyland Park, the new track, and I forget all the details, but in those parks where we can have some assistance if a HVAC, a new HVAC is needed, we can assist if those parks are in income, well, low and moderate income census tract. So we partner with Park and Rec, PP capital projects to come up with those eligible activities and use our funds there.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Yeah, I would like to see whatever it is we're sending out to people regarding the facade improvement program, just because, you know, we did this many years ago, and businesses could improve their facades, and then I think it kind of fell by the wayside. And you know, that's a big deal, especially if you're a small business in a strip shopping center where everything looks alike, you know, and it's really boring. You could fix yourself up. So does anyone have any other questions regarding this funding?
I do have one follow-up question I'd like to ask, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Once this is approved by the council, do you, I guess what I want to say, and you've increased each of these items within the budget when the approval is made, do you have waiting lists for people that might be eligible that you haven't had an opportunity to assist before, or is this new money being created that we'll have to start the process of making people aware that this project is there? Or how, I guess what I'm trying to ask, how soon is this available, and do you have people waiting in line for it, or is the process of having to make residents aware?
This is new money. It has to be approved by HUD first. Once we get HUD's approval, and the money is available to the city and the finance department, we will make applications available so the citizens can apply for the programs.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we do have a motion and we are ready to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that item passes and we'll send it to the full council. Our next item, thank you, Ms. Stitt. Our next item is item 27, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Economic Modeling LLC, DBA EMSI, under which EMSI shall provide workforce analytics data and subscription services to Innovation and Economic Opportunity Department of the Mayor's Office at a cost of $10,000 for a term of 1 year. Is Annette Harris here to speak to us about this, or someone else?
Hi, Councilor. Annette couldn't be with us today, but I'm here from IMS to speak on it if you need us to.
Okay, well, just tell us what this is.
This software as a service. It's a portal that they use through MSI that IEO uses to look at demographics and trend analysis on workforce data. I'm afraid I'm not a great expert on the economic development stuff, but I do know that this is something they've used before. It was budgeted in this budget year, and now they're just ready to do the subscription for it.
Okay, are there any questions from members of the committee? Well, if there are no questions, we need a motion and then we can vote.
Move the item.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So this item will be sent to the full council. Thank you very much, Mr. McClendon. Our next item is item 28B. And I have to search for the language of 28B on another device so that I can tell you what 28B is. Of course, anytime you're trying to rush and do something, you can't find it. Okay, a request seeking a budget ordinance to transfer funds in the amount totaling $475 from the following District 1 GL account 001 010 04210 04211.527-014 professional fees consulting to account number 001 083 70025 70026 70029.511-009 for parks and recreation expenses, presumably in District 1. Is there a motion?
Move the item.
Okay, it has been moved and properly seconded. Does anyone have any questions or comments or anything on that item? Hearing none, we have a motion and we are ready to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And okay, that item passes and we will move on to 28C, an ordinance to amend the general fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021 by transferring $28,288 from IMS technology maintenance / software maintenance and appropriating $27,288 to non-departmental transfer to Fund 102 capital improvement. An ordinance to amend the capital fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021 by transferring $82,000 from IMS computer hardware / software and appropriating $109,288 to the Kronos project. Do we have a motion?
Move the item.
Well, I'll second it. So it has been properly moved and seconded. Mr. McClendon, do you want to tell us about this?
Sure. This is part of our ongoing HR and payroll improvements. We recently went live on Kronos for the time and attendance system, and this is to complete the telestaff upgrade without any interruption due to the end of the fiscal year. We're almost through with the telestaff upgrade. That's the system we use to schedule police and fire personnel, and it's important that we complete that, without any interruption, so we won't have any problems with that system. This is existing funds within IMS that just need to be moved so that we can continue that project and finish it up in July.
Okay, any questions from members of the committee? Hearing none, we are ready to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that item passes and we will send it to the full council. And now we are on to item 28D, an ordinance to amend the neighborhood allocations fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021 by transferring $15,000 from Huffman Neighborhood Association capital projects and appropriating $15,000 to transfer to Fund 102 capital improvement. An ordinance to amend the capital fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021 by appropriating $15,000 to transportation speed hump bump for the Huffman Neighborhood Association. Do we have a motion?
Move the item.
So moved. Second.
Okay. It has been moved and properly seconded. Mr. Hatcher, are you here to talk about this, or Adrian Stitt?
Council, it's actually just a neighborhood allocation request that the
Okay,
neighborhood
so
approved.
this is just another one of those delightful speed bumps like they put on Carlisle Road.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll tell you what, they slow people down. It's a fact. Okay, well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, aye. So that item passes and we will be happy to have another speed hump bump in our city. Okay, now, do we have a 28E? Or did I just imagine that? I must have just imagined it.
No, that's Counselor Hoyt's item that I sent you in an email during the meeting to replace.
Oh,
item-
okay, that's the one that was item 12.
Correct.
That now it's 28E.
Correct.
So now I need to find a different email to read the description. Okay, a request to seeking a budget ordinance to transfer funds in the amount totaling $14,999 from the following GL account 001-000-04280 542-001. And it says Counselor Hoyt's discretionary account to a non-lapsing GL account at the Birmingham Museum of Art, as recommended by the Budget Office. Do we have a motion? Can we have?
Move the item. Move the item.
Second.
Okay. Has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, so that item passes and will be sent to the full council. So I believe now we are ready for the actual number 29, which is our adjournment if, well, we can't have any other business. We've had enough. So would anyone like to make a motion?
Move the item for adjournment.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Good. Okay, so that item passes and we are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience, and we will, we'll get better and better as time goes on, won't we? Anyway, see y'all in the morning.